I got like tomato soup all over my face. I just woke up at 3 a.m. and I woke up, which is a little too much for me, especially since I think I went to bed at 11, so that's kind of weird. It might be because of the dream that I had. I'm not really quite sure. Like, it wasn't a scary, like, well, but no, it wasn't a really scary dream, was it? But, okay. There was different aspects to it, but there was, like, a quality of it being sort of like a video game. Like, let me put it this way. It was very much like, okay, OG Zelda, like Ocarina of Time, Forest Temple. Like, it felt like Forest Temple, right? And I kind of want to continue this based off of, like, what I last record, or not what I last recorded, but, like, I don't know, there was something where I recorded where I was talking about the Red Book by Carl Jung. But I want to first, just talk about the dream that I had. Because there is a point in that book where he talks about a forest temple. Like, that's why I was like, oh, it's fair. Like, because I was like I say, like, I read, um, well, lately I've only had time to read anything stichomantically, and if you don't know what that means, it's like when you open, like, you just, like, pick a book and you open it to a random page. When you do that for religious text, it's called bibliomancy. Like, if you open up, like, say, the Quran or the Bible or whatever, like, or the Siddur, or, like, anything, like, on that is more specifically actually, like, a religious text, then it's called bibliomancy. I know that's, like, more akin to the Bible or whatever, but that's just the word in English. Stichomancy is when you would, like, open up any book. Like, I don't know if it does include also religious text. I mean, I think it would, but the fact that there's, like, a separate word for it makes me think no or something. But anyway, like, there's Game of Thrones on my bookshelf over there. Like, if I were going to get that, open it to page 362 and read whatever the fuck's on that page, that's stichomancy. So, yeah, so, I, I don't, well, he's not like a religious figure, is he? So I think it's like stichomantic, right? Because it's basically, just him having, like, he was just very productive with his mental breakdown. Which is kind of, like, yeah, like, if you're going off the rails, just start fucking writing. It's gonna be interesting to someone, at least, and you at least to keep your, brownie points, like, like, yeah, like, don't go around acting the fool, just go sit down, write all the crazy shit in your mind, because that probably is gonna be something, or at least entertaining for people, at the very least, but, or insightful. There's some people who describe some of his stuff as, like, being akin to, like, sustenance such as bread or something like that. Like, people have praised him countless years, but obviously, I mean, they even made, like, little cameos in TV shows and movies and stuff like that, like his, or referring to him, yeah. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Well, it's related. That's why, like, I had to mention it, because I did, like, stichomantically, like, open up to a page where he mentioned, like, a forest temple or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay, like, I guess when my brain read that, it was like, it went like the Ocarina time. But no, but it was kind of crazy, because in the book he was mentioning, like, turning into a green man, like, turning into, like, a forest spirit, which is very, I keep on referencing Gunner Creek Court, which is, like, I've read that comic for, like, 10 plus years, like, it's a web comic, right? I've read that comic for 10 plus years, and I keep on reading it. I was lucky enough to, like, pop on when the writer used to stream on Twitch and stuff like that, and I made a mockery out of myself by like showing all of, well, I didn't do anything that I didn't do on the forums, did I? I put all of like my fan art of his stuff that I did. I displayed it to him, and I was like, these are my favorite characters. And he's like, oh, very nice. You know, but I gotta work on a cover now. But anyway, my dream was like, it's weird because it was like my life, but then it kind of like melted into like, yeah, like a video game that you would like, especially like Legend of Zelda, where like, you know, there was like platforms and I had to like hop onto these different platforms, and there was like different rooms as if it were like a dungeon game, like a RPG dungeon game kind of thing. And what's crazy too is a tarot card reader named I'm not gonna say her name, like her real name. Her handle is SA Speaks. Her name's really long, but like they have Speak SA Shell Speaks Gypsy Witch Tarot. I think that's her whole thing. But anyway, she popped in. Like she sometimes pops in my dreams. Like I mean, I don't know if it's like a spirit dawning her. Like you know, like because I've gotten that before, right? Where I've dreamt of people, and I've wondered if it was them, or or not. When it's personal, like if it's like family members, you know, I usually could read the energy. Like you know, like if it's somebody I know, right, and like this person's kind of like acting, how would you say, like either out of character or the energy feels different, then I'm like, oh well, this is not really like, I don't think it's them visiting me necessarily. I think it's like some sort of spirit putting on their mask. But I don't like, she's a tarot card reader. I don't know her personally, so I don't know if like you know like that's not something I could call, like it'd be like dreaming of like a kind of like a celebrity, right? Like it's like I don't know, like you know, it's like I don't know. Um but but yeah, anyway, it was like a video game where like there was like platforms and they were going, and like you know, I was trying to get to like these different areas. Yeah, it was like kind of a thing where it's like, oh, you're trying to get into this one area, oh, the door's locked, so you have to go get the key over in like, you know, room 36B or whatever. You know, like you know, like it was like that. So and this morphed from like, I guess there was like an earlier part of the dream where it was like kind of just like normal, or like not normal but not a game or whatever. And but if okay, this is what was very interesting, because okay, if you think about like the forest temple, right, in Ocarina of Time, there's like 4 ghosts that you have to like collect in that game. Like they're sisters, right? You have to go around collecting those 4 sisters, and then you could unlock the platform that allows you to go to the bottom and eventually go to the boss, which is another ghost. Well, it's not a ghost, really. I don't know what it is. They call it like the Ganon Phantom or something like that. Or it's like a mockery of... And that's kind of weird, too, because, like, okay, this is not what I dreamt of. I'm explaining Ocarina of Time to people who don't know. You go there's like a bunch of paintings all on the wall. Like, the way you fight this ghost does not mimic how you actually fight the last boss. Like, it has the face of the last boss. Oh, it doesn't even have the face of the last boss. It's like wearing a mask. But anyway, okay, it has the body, like it's appearing as if it were the last boss, or like the big bad evil guy. And it keeps on disappearing into pictures, and like, and things are dancing in the pictures, and you have to like shoot the right one. Like there's like mimics all around, and you have to pick out the real ghost in order to like battle him or whatever. Oh wait, no, I do think like, okay, so if you don't pass the mimic challenge, I think he does pop out, and then I think then it kind of mimics the battle. I don't know, it's been forever since I played that game, right? But I think it's like, if you fail the mimic challenge, he'll pop out and then you have to battle him like you do the boss at the end. But he's like obviously a lot weaker than the boss, and it's a different area and all that. And I don't think you need a light arrow. I think you could just like shoot a normal arrow at him. Or something. I don't remember. But anyway, so yeah, so there was like platforms and all this kind of stuff, right? And then there was like this one where there was like, I don't know, maybe it was like quicksand or something, and then like there was, I don't know, and then I was like resting in this one area. And I think that's when SA came and was like asking me like, or, okay, so like, okay, I guess what I say with like the forest temple is like that was the theme, right? It was like 4 different ghosts or whatever. This is the weird thing is like in this game that my brain invented, it had like something to do with religion or something, where it was like, and I think she asked me like, which god calls to you or something like that. Like it was something like I like I've been up for a little bit and I went and ate food and I went and like went to the bathroom, like I've been up for a little bit, so it's not like right when I woke up I came and sat down and recorded this. So but it was like, yeah, it was some sort of like philosophical question of like, because like I said, it wasn't necessarily a game. It wasn't like, sometimes dreams, you dream of it like cinematically, where like, it's almost as if you're watching a screen or something like that, right? No, I was first person in this well, okay, like I kind of like went from first person to like, I don't know, slightly off center during this thing. So that kind of is what gave me like the little bit of like, I'm not gonna say unsettled feeling, but like, when you play a game and it's like you have to, like when you have to make jump at like, that little I don't know, like you feel something when you're playing a game that requires you to have like a certain amount of skill to it, right? Like where it's like, well, I gotta make sure I didn't like, don't want to fall into the abyss, or like, oh, like I gotta time that, like, you're playing a game. But anyway, yeah, she popped up in the center area. Like, I think I wasn't like, I would love to draw, like, because I do remember the layout of this little dungeon that I was playing, but like each room had like a different like kind of theme to it, and I think it was almost like she's the one who did like a, like, oh god, like what, she's my Navi. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, like I was like, well, I don't know how to get through this area, and she was like, well, which god do you want to I was like, what? Like, okay, and there was 2 like consciousness there, right? Or maybe I'm finally getting the second conscious now, but like there was like the conscious of me, like the player in the game, being kind of like what do you mean, or like, getting that information firsthand, right. And then there was a second consciousness of me being the person watching the dream, right, already knowing this stuff, or already have like observing the game and kind of, I wouldn't say critiquing it, but like, observing it from like a higher perspective, which might only be me, like because like time being a thing right now. Might only be me now observing my dream that I just dreamt. I don't know. But yeah, like she like randomly popped up and was like, well, I don't think she said like, what god do you serve? Like, I don't think it was that, but it was like kind of, no, I think it was like what god calls to you or something like, yeah, I think like it was, yeah, it's not like yeah, it wasn't like who do you pick or what, it was like what's calling to you or something like that. I'm very much paraphrasing, but it was more in that sense of like well, what's sticking out to you, kind of, rather than what do you like, because like choosing is kind of like more from like an inner spot, right? Or like what's calling to you, or what's, I shouldn't say bad, like I don't know, I don't remember, like I'm very much paraphrasing, but it was like a kind of thing of like what are you getting? like what are you picking up? What's being received? You know. So and then I woke up. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I have no idea what I'm going to title this video because it seems very convoluted, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, like, I've dreamt of, like, three, like, I mean, because that's kind of, like, my form of, like, entertainment and, like, I call it, like, spiritual news or something like that, but I'll watch, like, videos, like, tarot card readers as a way to just, like, pass the time, and sometimes also to get, like, a read on the algorithm, like, what is it, like, kind of see what everyone's picking up on, you know, just kind of like in a general vibe sense. And then there's like some people who are just like, oh, I just kind of like okay, there's like there's a few different kinds of readers, right? There's the ones that I just like enjoy their personality and I just like hearing them, like almost as if it were a talk show, right? There's some people who I do think like actually have get like, cause I don't want to say like, oh, you don't like, not everybody has gifts. It's not that, but maybe I'm just not on their frequency or something like that. Like, so what is it? What they're saying is not necessarily true for me. Like, I don't feel like we're on the same page, right? And so like, and like that, they always give like disclaimers, right? They're like, if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. And like and I'll continually watch them and I just realized, no, I don't think we're like yeah, no. And then there are some where I do feel like they're like 100% fake, and I'm not gonna call anybody out, but like I know who those people are. I really, really do know. And I think it's, unfortunately they because I don't think they really like, okay, how is it like, how do I personally identify fake ones? They don't know the cost. They're not it's an act and they don't know the fucking like there's a spiritual cost to these things and they don't understand the fucking current, like it's not actual currency, but it's like it's a spiritual currency, and you can tell they're not like, it's like, okay, when you play poker and you put in a chip, right? It's like this person's putting in peanuts when everybody else is putting in cash. It's like we're not operating on this, like, what is it called? They don't have any skin in the game, right? And they don't like, and they're a little bit too naive to realize that's actually what's required in order to get those skills. It doesn't. And like some people are gonna be like, oh, it's like making a deal with the devil. No, it's not making a deal with the devil. It's understanding. Well, okay, like even in Christian terms, right? What was it? Jesus sacrificed himself completely, right? Like, I mean, that's very martyr-esque, right? Like you're suffering the ultimate price, right? That's horrible. I mean, like, whatever, maybe it needed to be done. I have no idea. But there's a tax. Like the cheese tax, it's like there's a tax to these things, and some people are playing the game and they think that they're doing stuff, but it's like, no, you're living in a little mini psychosis basically, and you're going to pay the tax like very unawares. It's gonna hit you and you're not gonna know what to do with that. Um, the people who do have the skills, they know how to do it, you know. Well, I mean, like, we're human at the end of the day, so whether they do it voluntarily or not, you know, our mortality is a scary thing, so, obviously we want to put on brave faces and, I mean, like, you know, keep our autonomy or whatever to a certain extent, right? But there's taxes for a lot of different things. And like there's always like, you know, the alchemic thing of like equivalent exchange and stuff like that, so those things come into play. You know. But yeah, that was my dream. Like I didn't mean to get all philosophical on it, like, but I felt like I needed to explain the end bit of me like calling out some spiritualists who are kind of crap. It doesn't have anything to do with the dream that I had. The Carl Jung thing slightly make like just because that was something that I read recently, but I don't like that was like several days ago, so I don't like unless it really stuck in my subconscious. I don't think it really had anything to do with it, because like it's not what is it? It's not like I dreamt of playing the fire temple. Oh, whoa, that's interesting that I said the fire temple. It's not like I dreamt of playing the forest temple exactly, right? So, or even like I didn't look like Link in the dream. It didn't look like the forest temple, but like slightly different. Like it wasn't that. It was its own. It was completely different. But the only thing I can compare it to is like a game like that. But yeah, that's it, really. Anyway, take care, be good, bye bye.